So if you have a look, this is actually more like... Off she goes. That is my pride and joy, that thing. I know you shouldn't... Alright, so it's bright and early Monday morning and the team are coming down to inspect the pump. So they've gone down with the machinery now and then they're going to inspect the turbine in there. So that'll be a job they'll be doing all day. I've got to show them down here and then I can go off and do some work with the cows whilst they're doing this job. So soon we'll know what sort of condition that pump house is in. So okay, today it's Tuesday and as you can see my overalls have come out, pulled them out of the workshop this morning, and I've just come out to get some silage for some of the bulls which are in at the moment. They've been pulled out of the suckler herd and they'll be fed silage over the winter months. At the moment we've got this end stack which I'm using to feed silage out. It was some bales which I made towards the end of the season on a small pasture near the farm, so I think there's about in total 20 bales there which I'm just going to use for feeding before the main herd comes in. I do need to give this machine a good wash as well because we've been mucking out with it over the last couple of months. So I'm just going to show you this bale. This will be one of the first few bales we did with the baler this year. I turned soft core off on the Fendt baler settings, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a good bale. I have tried to make them as dense as possible because the air will be trapped in the bale. That's what I've been trying to do. Also change some of the settings on the wrapper. I slowed it down a bit this year to try and improve the quality of the film without stretching it too much, and also change some of the baler settings. I turned soft core off, increased the density a little bit compared to what the previous contractor would have done. So I'm hoping, all in all, that this will be some good stuff. So if you have a look, this is actually more like haylage rather than silage, some of this stuff. This is actually quite good for some of the younger animals. We've got some of the stores, but just the smell of it smells wonderful. There's quite a lot of clover in this grass, these meadows, which I made with the baler and the mower. So we'll see what the rest of the bale looks like. Actually not too bad, to be fair. And as you can see, I did turn soft core off. Now some people will leave soft core on for hay, especially if you're unrolling the bales. Something I was concerned about was whether the cattle would tear the bale apart when it's in the feed ring without using soft core. We're turning soft core off and with a very high density bale, but we fed a few out now like this and it's been pretty good. So pretty pleased so far with the general quality of the stuff. And yeah, time will tell. We'll see, go and see what the cattle think. There's obviously a little bit of juice in there which has just come out, but for the most part it's a pretty dry bale, this one. So not bad. Got plenty of bales left anyway for the start of the season. You know, we don't want to start using too many bales too quickly. We want to take our time with them and make the bales last. So that's the idea anyway. In an ideal world, it would be nice to have a machine to feed these bales out like I used to have back in the day, which was a feeder bedder. And for silage, we would need a really good feeder bedder for this stuff because the bales being so dense, you'd really want something which would tear them apart quite gently. And I did see at Nicholson's they had a really good McHale feeder bedder, which was sort of silage slash straw. Teagle's another one as well. Teagle tomahawks are really good apparently for eating through silage and straw, but I think for silage McHale might have the edge, but I don't know. We'd have to look at a McHale feeder bedder. I think it's called the C4, which we'd have to have a look at, which would be predominantly for silage. Another option is they do some diet feeders you can get now which feed silage out, and then they also chop straw as well. So you've got a straw blower and a feeder with a diet wagon, which is pretty cool. I think Abbey make that machine. So really, if we do invest in a bedder slash feeder, we'd want it to do two jobs. So you'd only have one machine, which would be quite clever. Although we might look at initially just a straw blower and then see where it goes. But it would be nice to feed some of this silage out, but it is some really dense stuff. You need a hell of a machine to process some of these, as Trevor calls them, bullet bales, because they are really turned up on the density, but they are, you know, it's some good stuff. So Well, at the moment, this is the best way to feed the cattle, is just with the pitchfork. I did have on demo last year the Teagle Telehawk, which was really good. It would be quite handy with the bull, because I went in to bed him down the other day and I have to let him out. He runs out, Hector, goes into the cubicles just over there. He runs around the yard there, and then we put the bale in and bring him back into the pen. But of course, every time you have to bed him down, you've got to let him out of the pen, which is not ideal, because so you are having to deal with the bull every week, sort of chase him around the yard with your stick to try and get him to go where you want to go. Whereas with the Telehawk, it was quite good because you could bed them down. So it would be nice to look at a second-hand straw blower at some point. It was great really from a health and safety perspective, I suppose, particularly more with the bulls than with the cows. But that being said, it's been a very expensive year this year for the farm, especially with the equipment. So that's something for the back burner for another time, maybe for next year. But that being said, tomorrow the Land Rover is being picked up, the old Defender. It's got to have some restoration work done because the chassis not looking great, put it that way. And then later on in the week, on Saturday, we're going to have a chat about the channel and about some ideas over the winter months, because the work is changing on the farm throughout winter. The harvest has been done now. There's not too much winter work, autumn work in terms of arable. It's mainly going to be livestock this winter. And although some people like to see the livestock, I do like the tractor content and machinery content, and I know a lot of you guys like that. So I'm going to try and do some more machinery content throughout the winter. But I'll talk to you about that on Saturday, and we'll finish feeding these off. Go and check the rest of the animals on the farm today. And we're looking at another bull, actually. This is Hector, our Aberdeen Angus bull. We're looking at getting another Angus bull, which will go in the middle pen to go with Rodney at the end there. So we'll have a blonde and then the 2 Aberdeen Angus bulls, which will both be from Aberdeen, from a herd up there, which sells to the Shadwell stud. So some of the genetics are pretty good, but we've got to, of course, find our third bull, which is going to take a little bit of time. So yeah, that's what we're up to today. And like I say, feed a bedder, straw blower would be nice, but we'll have to wait for another time. Right, today it's Wednesday, and as you can see, just by the Land Rover, I've just been cleaning it out, getting rid of all my old rubbish out of it, because it's supposed to be picked up today by Mike from Black Barn Heritage. So I've still got a bit of rubbish just to clear out there. Cleaned the back out for now. It's not too bad, but I was just really trying to get it tidied up for when it's picked up, so that it's clean and it can go on the journey all the way to the other side of London, where it will go to Black Barn Heritage to have some work done over the next couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that when Mike turns up, this will all be cleared up and I'll have it tidy and ready to go. Unfortunately, there has been a bit of bird muck on the bonnet, and I tried to do something about the pigeon. We did get rid of him with the air gun, but he keeps blooming messing on the bonnet. But anyway, other than that, it's it's a working vehicle. It is what it is. I might get the gun out and try and pressure wash it, but the trouble is, on the way down to the other side of the city, London, I would imagine it will get covered in muck, maybe down there, but just might get the washer out on it. But this is all the problem, is the back chassis rusting, and there's some problems underneath there as well. Don't know if you can have a look. There's a bit of corrosion on the main chassis and a few other areas. So anyway, I'm hoping I'll get this cleaned up. Alright guys, so it's a lot later in the day now, and I've got Mike here from Black Barn Heritage.
Hi there.
And Mike's come to pick the Defender up, haven't you, Mike?
Yeah, we have, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in with it. It's going to be a good little project, smartening it up, doing the chassis and dealing with all the corrosion and all the usual spots on these vehicles. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be good fun.
So what do you think's sort of the worst part about it at the moment? Would you say like the chassis? Or
Underneath.
Yeah.
Underneath.
Okay.
It's not bad, but it will need a good clean up. And we'll go through with a full Dinitrol treatment, but and also we'll get the paintwork looking nice, polished up, and so it looks good to everyone that doesn't look at the chassis. It's going to look very smart.
I mean, as I was just saying to you, I use it for work all the time, and it's a bit of an interesting one because it's kind of a classic. It goes with the 135 at the back. Yeah. But at the same time, it has to do a bit of work as well. So I should at some point try and, like I was saying to you, get a pickup truck or something else to go with it at some point. But as long as we can look after it, keep it going. Yeah,
it's all about preserving them, isn't it? Yeah, give them a bit of an extra bit of lifespan, and when you can put it to rest, it'll be in good nick.
Yeah, I'll try and drop the mileage on it a bit. I mean, at the moment it's done 10,000 miles a year, but I'll gradually retire it year after year and try and and try and look after it. But yeah, I hope it looks good when it comes back. I can't wait to see what it looks like.
We'll send some photos.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Good stuff.
Brilliant. Off she goes, guys. Off she goes into the night. Off she goes. Oh. Seems strange seeing someone else driving the Defender, but anyway, off she goes. That is my pride and joy, that thing. I know you shouldn't, worry about materialistic items and all that sort of thing, but I really do like that old Land Rover. So, all right, today it's Thursday, and as you can see, we're on the pastures today, and I've got the small Spears & Jackson shovel out today with the twin digging on it, which has got the double spade. Really good tool, this one. Unfortunately, I opened this gate earlier on in the year, and the bottom has all gone rotten, and the sleeper just literally fell over. So I'm using this today to dig a hole out this morning, and then I'm hoping that what we can do is bring the replacement post I've got down here, and we might be able to squidge it in, finish it off with the teleporter. If we push it down with the boom, getting there. I've got a tape measure, I've got my hinges which I'm going to use to hinge the gate on, and I've also got the impact gun to take the old bracket off. But all in all, well, I'm just about to head out and get some parts for the new gate. I need some replacement hinges. I haven't got the right ones in the shed. But just have a look here. These are the sheep which we've got at the moment. We've got some young ewe lambs which are grazing off what used to be the old pit, and we've now filled it in. I seeded this all with the gator and the cedar on the back, the small blue spinner, and it's all come up now with some lovely clover and grass. There was a clover mix which we picked up from a catalogue. And then in the farmyard, we've currently got the Collinson silo, which has been empty from last year since the cattle have been out, so we've just ordered some more food to go into that. As you can see, the 6.9 at the moment we've put on the feed trailer, and that is for the cattle down at the marshes. We might take some straw out there later on this week, especially as the weather starts to change and the grass starts to slow down. So we'll fill this up with barley straw and take it down there, I should think, certainly in the next couple of days or by the weekend. Now, and I'm just patrolling the sugar beet for the deer, which are a nightmare at the moment. I've got my piece with me, and we're just making a noise every couple hundred metres, just along here really, to try and scare the deer and scare the animals which are eating the rest of the sugar beet away. And unfortunately, the damage has been really severe this year, so this is the only thing I can do, just morning and night, literally try and scare them off, because at Christmas this will all be harvested and there's not going to be a very good crop if it's all eaten off. So we've got the deer, things like hares as well will eat the sugar beet. We used to have rabbits as well, lots of rabbits which would eat the sugar beet and the barley as well. But I haven't seen as many rabbits over the last 5 or 10 years. Not so many rabbits anymore. I think the myxomatosis has cleared a lot of them out, and so has same problem with hares really. I think the hares had a bit of an issue a couple of years back, but really it is the deer. They're the one which are a real problem on the farm. So we might have to get some electric fencing and try and put that around the crops to try and protect. There's another one right up here just looking straight at us, all the way down there, just looking straight at us. But no, you see what I mean. So that's the problem really. Yeah, electric fencing. We could put a perimeter fence on the farm maybe to try and ring fence this part of the farm so that the deer can't come into here. I think that would probably be a good solution. Of course the deer will try and jump the fence, so it would have to be pretty tall. But yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of today trying to scare them off the turnips, the sugar beet, the fodder beet, and also they're going on the gallops as well, which is not great because the hares and rabbits will dig holes in them, and then next thing you know, a horse will fall over, broken leg, stuff like that. So we have to constantly monitor for that as well. So we're checking the animals today, and a couple of weeks back I topped this all off, and I think we can both agree. Lie down, dogs! I think we can both agree that the grassland looks a lot better. It's started to come back. Of course it won't come back very well because we are now going into autumn, but it's really sorted this part of the farm out. You see we've got the two dogs here. We've got Pip and Nell. Pip's the pup and Nell's the older dog who's better trained. That'll do, dogs. Lie down. They're both very good dogs, to be fair, and they're good on sheep and on cattle. You see Pip there just popping up after I told her to lie down. She's still got a lot to learn. She is about 8 months old now. Lie down, girl. But she doesn't really want to do too much with the sheep just yet, not until she gets older. Lie down, Pip, good girl. So it's just going to take time, I think, more than anything. But she is coming along very nicely. That's Nell, though, the more advanced dog, and she's really, really well-behaved dog. So we're going to check all the animals. Pip, good girl, you lie down. All right, it's Saturday now, and as you can probably see behind me, I'm just by the 6930, and if you can just see, it's got a really bad oil leak, which it's developed over the last week since we've been carting muck out, and I think it's to do with something near the transmission. There's a hydraulic pipe which has blown, or an O-ring which has gone, so we'll have to fix that. And then also, something else I've been looking at as well as doing up this tractor, we're looking at maybe in the future, as I've said to you, looking at another third tractor to invest in, but it will be a rundown project tractor which I wanted to look into. Maybe looking at something from Cambridge Machinery Auction. There's one on November which I was going to have a look at, or maybe looking online on eBay, something like that. You know, all this new stuff is very nice with the AdBlue and the electronics. This tractor's actually got a problem with the indicator with some of the electronics. There are some people that say the standard 30s were a lot more reliable, and I'm starting to see why, because as much as I love the 30, it is really, really difficult to keep it going. It does go through the parts. So I know one day we'll get there and repair it, but it'll probably keep going wrong and wrong, because, you know, machinery gets older. And unfortunately, you know, with the new stuff, it's great for a couple of years, but with the computers, the AdBlue, the ECUs, they do go wrong. So I'd love to look at a cheaper, sort of more basic, more simple tractor in the future. Something which I was thinking about was a John Deere 6430, but I've sort of been put off that a little bit now by the massive repair bills of the 6930. Just keeping it going with a command centre is really, really expensive. There's been a few sensors and things which have got to be replaced. So, you know, things are getting expensive. So it's time to go back to some of the original stuff. And I sort of really enjoy, you know, the more classic, reliable stuff out there. You know, yes, when it goes wrong, the classic stuff is annoying, like anything when it goes wrong. But I sort of really get a kick out of it, and I really enjoy working on the old stuff. And I feel as though you guys enjoy that as well. So we'll look at a third tractor as well, maybe a John Deere 6410. It doesn't even have to be John Deere. One of our first tractors used to be a Zeta, and then we had a McCormick CX105. We had a couple of them, and they were really good tractors. Just like the McCormick in Funky Farmers videos, Richard Cornock's got the McCormicks, and they're really good old tractors. They've got great Perkins engines. So leave a comment in the comment section if you've got any ideas of a third tractor which could join the channel. And it would be really good for going on the wrapper in the summertime, or the tedder. Maybe even if we look at a second-hand straw blower, it could go on that. There's just so many options for a small third tractor, and it will be a great piece to do over the winter period, because, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, although we're doing hedges, although we're doing some winter work, there's a little bit of cultivating and some muck spreading to do through winter. There's mainly the cattle to bring home and feed. You know, winter work, you know, what is going on, a lot of people like the machinery. So I'm going to try and do this as a winter project. So come along with me for the journey. That'll be next week. We'll be going to look at a couple of ideas, a couple of options. Another thing I was thinking about doing was like a second-hand, really old sort of rundown fast track. They've always sort of been a little passion on the side. I've seen a couple advertised at quite good prices, and, you know, things can be advertised at a good price sometimes, but that's not to say that necessarily it will be the most reliable thing in the world. Sometimes, as I've found out with 6930, you do have to pay for it on the other end, although it wasn't the cheapest thing, unfortunately, to buy initially, because these 69s are really going up in value. You know, and that's another thing as well with inflation. You know, sometimes you're better off investing in classic tractors. It's just knowing which ones to invest in. Certainly the green and yellows, John Deere, great investment right now. Some of the old Masseys, 6480s, New Holland, TM155, 165, stuff like that. You know, there's loads of different options out there, and, you know, everyone likes all different colours and brands. And, you know, sometimes it's just finding a brand which matches for you. Maybe you've had something in your family for years, like our 135, and that's what you're into, Massey Ferguson, or maybe you're into New Holland, maybe you're into Class or something like that. It doesn't matter. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at a third tractor. So leave a comment in the comment section down below what sort of tractor you'd like to see next week us to have a look at as a restoration piece. It doesn't have to be John Deere, it could be McCormick, or it could be Massey Ferguson. Leave a comment and we'll try and go and have a look at one as a restoration piece throughout the winter months, ready for silage next year. It'll be really wrapping, tedding, and any small jobs like bale carting. It'll be great, and Trevor can drive it. It really is, I suppose, Trevor's tractor, but it'll have to be a job over the winter, and we'll surprise him with it sort of at the start of 2024 once we get it tidied up. So I'm going to try and look at this. Let's get this 6930 back up and running, and leave a comment down below about which tractor you'd like to see in next week's video. Let's go and look at some more tractors, something as a restoration piece to join the other two as well. So keep liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Click here to subscribe to the channel. And click here to watch another Olly's Farm video.